But we're trying to build a company that does one of the hardest things that it can possibly do in business, and we're able to do it and replicate it over and over and over and over again and make it as easy as possible for everybody, right? Being a business solutions firm, we offer all of these big solutions to your problems. Patrick, how the heck are you?
I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. What's new?
I'm a little confused. I thought we had talked about this at the end of the last podcast. I looked at my. All right, I can't do this without. I can't do this without Bieber.
We had an agreement.
I'm sorry, we had an agreement.
Your contract states that you got to have a celebrity.
My contract
other
states
than you.
I need to be next to a celebrity, a celebrity standee at all times, or I don't work. Okay, now where were we? Don't you feel better now?
I do. I feel
better.
I feel a lot
How's you
better.
looking? Does he need better? Does he need better lighting?
He looks good. He needs get a light on.
I don't know how happy he is to be in the podcast today. Look at him.
He looks
very, very serious. I don't know. It's good, man. It's good to be back.
We're gonna get a cardboard cutout of you.
I was thinking
next to you.
I was thinking about how obnoxious that would be, like to get a cardboard cutout of me, but have one in every studio at work. So when I'm in there, I can be there right next to or even walking around in different places. I'll make a taller one. I'm like, this is tall, Pat.
This is tall.
Pat,
why are your legs abnormally stretched out? No, it's just the camera angle.
Yeah. So we were talking about radio last time.
Pat, we're talking about radio because there's this general misconception in all sorts of industries that radio is dead, that people don't advertise on radio. But, we regularly see incredible results from radio, but you have to pair it with other, like radio alone will work for you over time, but radio is really a tremendous product if you pair it with everything else, just like how you wouldn't just have a sign on your building and you wouldn't just have one newspaper ad as your marketing campaign.
Right.
You have web, you have social, you have your signage, you have things that you hand out to places, you go out, you shake 10,000 hands, you do all of these different things. Radio is just one component of those things. And I believe you had a stat, something like 90%.
Well, right.
What was that?
So that's what I was going to mention to you. Like the key to marketing, right, is that you're seen everywhere, anywhere someone goes. And I don't know why we call them phones anymore, since that's like the last thing I use it for anymore. On your phone, on your computer, on your laptop, on social, on TV, on the radio. I remember, and it was a big win for me, and this was early on when we were hanging out, and we talked about how we first started doing the podcast. Do you remember when we were in the parking lot of Precision, and a lady was bringing her mom into the shop, and she's like, "These are the two guys that do the podcast." Do you remember that?
I still get people. I'll have like somebody come over. We had bees, and I had like an exterminator come to the house one time, and we hadn't been on the radio together for a little while, but we haven't been doing it in this capacity. And this guy came over, and he was like, "Wait, you had to get my license and stuff so you could wrap me in." He's like, "Wait, you're that guy? You're that
Stephenson.
guy? Yeah. Just the guy was like excited. I'm like, I just own some businesses, man.
Right.
I didn't see it as that, but like people really seem to like that show. And now we've since changed the format of it a little bit, but I think case in point. Yesterday, I had to go to a meeting for an NPO, right? And so a nonprofit organization. There's a school right around here. And we'll speak to the power of like building brands, right? And radio and how it does that. And so I had to go to this meeting to help them with something that they're doing to promote their school and to promote really a gigantic fundraiser that they're doing. And I'm very honored that they even spoke to us about it, and reached out to us to help them. Great people over there. And so in any event, the point I'm trying to make is that when I sat down with them, they thought that I was, they were like, "Oh, don't you just work on cars?" And I'm like, my gosh, I haven't worked on cars. Well, I mean, other than this, but I haven't worked on cars for probably 12 years. I haven't been, a technician. At that point, I started running my own business and learning how to be a business owner. And then from there, I've been a business consultant for, almost 10 years now.
Right.
Like I'm so far removed from fixing cars, but to speak to the power of radio and branding, the only place we really advertised that radio show was on the radio. We didn't really do much else with it. We would
didn't.
record it and we'd put it on social, and it was a very, very basic way of branding. But at that time, I still wasn't even working on cars, and we would constantly explain problems that people would have with cars in a very cool, very digestible way, and people really liked it. We got some national recognition for that show as well. We were in a magazine, which people will say doesn't work, but you know how many people saw that magazine and how many other opportunities that led to?
People in the automotive business, right? It's very targeted.
Yeah.
It's a very targeted magazine that you were in, right?
Pat, when you start working with a company, one of the things that we do here at Lotus, right, when we start working with a company, right, so that's typically through acquisition or some type of a partnership, right? So we'll own the entire company or we own them in part. And so when we do, one of the things that we all are firm believers of is that people do business with people. They don't necessarily do business with just the business. And so what I'd like to talk about today is like how you shape that message, because you're a master at that, right? And so what we do here is, we talk to the business owners and we talk to their staff and we start to talk to the people and we begin to understand who they are and what makes them tick. And then we define a message that helps people understand why they should do business with that business, but not the business, why they should do business with those people, because it's the people that make up the company.
Right.
And that, I think, is where our message is much different than other messages that I see where everybody's like, me, you got to come into this business. You got to come into this business. No, man, just help build value. It's basic sales, ultimately, right? Like, isn't that ultimately what marketing is in your message? It's sales.
I mean, that's
build rapport in your team.
And that's what it is. I've heard people say, you can't don't mix business with and being personal. But I think it's 100% personal. I come up with some of the best ideas I come up with sometimes at home at 8:35 p.m. and I'll jot it down. Businesses are constantly on my mind. Precision, Matt, is constant. I envision him behind the counter and I think about Matt and what we're doing now, what we can do based on what the season is, what's the demand this particular month. We're coming up on now tax returns, right? So we push the 0% over 90 days. Don't pay it now. Your check's coming soon. That connects with people. You're getting a check back in the mail soon, so you can get your repair done today. For me, I like to ask a lot of why questions. Businesses are very happy to tell you what they do. My question is, why should I do business with you?
Yeah.
And the more why questions you can ask the business owner, the script will write itself, or the points in the script will write itself. Obviously, there's some creativity in how it's done digitally and produced down and all that stuff, which I've become very good at over the years. But
now you won an award from the Massachusetts Broadcasters Association. So I think that's something you don't really talk a lot about, is like who you are and what you do and like how we got to doing this. Well, like you are a big radio name in this area. You have the top afternoon show in what area, right? Or this entire area. Springfield is a gigantic market.
Yeah, one of the bigger cities in the Northeast.
Your signal, I've left Mount Snow, which is in Dover, Vermont, listening to you. I've been down in Long Island, in Mattatuck, Long Island, and I've heard you, right? And so your voice is, I can never get away from you, which is, it's a good thing.
That's not what you were going to say. That's not what you're going to say.
It's a good thing, but you've done this for so long. You've won awards for this type of thing. Like you've been at it for 30 years now, refining your craft.
Well, it's because I take it personally.
Yeah,
and I would say that to anyone, whether you're going to advertise, in a traditional mass media, or whether you're looking for someone to design a website, or you're looking for someone to consult you, you got to have someone who genuinely thrives on your business succeeding. And that's what drives me. And that's why I don't have 100 accounts. I've got a handful of accounts that I overserve because I take it personally. And I'm not afraid to ask them, how's business going?
What Route 10 Tire, Roger.
Yeah.
Route 10 Tire. Look what you have done with creating messages for that business, and that guy has to be 90% radio in the way that he advertises.
He is,
right, and so most of what he is doing now is your brainchild.
Yeah.
And that guy is everywhere. Everywhere.
Right.
And isn't he trying to do something nationally now with like, well, explain what he's doing with the textmefortires.com.
Okay, so Roger, I initially met Roger during COVID, and we were wearing masks, and I was brand new in sales, and here anyway. And so we talked a little bit, and I put a schedule in front of him, and he looked at it. He goes, "I want to spend more money."
Okay.
I was like, "Hell yeah!" So one of the things that we talked about was we wanted to separate how he was positioning himself from what others were doing. We didn't want to talk about, we have these tires, we have these tires, we have these tires. We wanted to talk about the benefits of doing business with him. And we do that through testimonials of his clients. So what I'll do is I'll go down with my remote recorder and just talk to his clients. What are your experiences with Route 10 Tire? How many years have you been coming here? Is this your first time here? If you've got several years coming to Route 10 Tire, what keeps you coming back? So his radio commercials are 100% focused around people that do business with him. And it's hard to find someone, I've not talked to anyone who's had anything bad to say about Roger. He also has a very good product. Textmefortires.com. You log on, the camera opens up, you take a picture of your tire and you send it, and you're done.
How many times have you said that?
I say it every day.
Every single day.
Well, so that's another challenge, right? For me, I've got to think of a different way to kind of position that.
Yeah.
Because people, they don't want to hear the exact same message every single time. It becomes benign and boring. But one of the new things, we're talking about this, and this was kind of an offshoot of what we've done. I learned when I went there that there are people coming from 60 miles away for their tires. There's a guy from New York comes in regularly when he needs tires.
Right.
So we started talking, and then Roger goes, to get those people that want to come from further away, they might think it's too far, so here's what I'll do. I'll pay for their gas. Right? Now, in my mind, that math, how much is 3 gallons of gas cost to drive 60 miles?
Mm-hmm.
It's negligible.
Mm-hmm.
But to someone who's listening, they don't hear that part. They hear, holy crap, he's going to pay for my gas to go there and back?
Yeah.
I had a guy, when I lived in the South, he had one day a year where he sold gasoline for $1 a gallon. And people would drive for miles to come. And we used to laugh because in a lot of cases, they would almost spend more time and money to get to the place to get $1 gas than the savings they actually got on the $1 gas.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of it's perception, right? And for Roger, it was just a different. Now the truth is, his prices are solid. His prices are low out the door compared to any of the bigger guys. One of the things that we've talked about as well is really kind of ignoring what everyone else is doing. He takes his business very personally. He sees what other people are doing, and he's like, "Screw those guys! I want to say that we will do this." I'm like, no. We've established a very good lane here that's working out very well. We're not going to mess with that. It's a great formula. But there's another example where Roger, I know him. I know his wife Heather. I know their kids Dakota and Ryan. We've been fishing. We've done stuff together. I've been to Ryan's baseball games. It's personal for me. Mm-hmm. And for some people, maybe that's not their way to go about things. But for me, I can't represent someone on the radio if I don't buy in to them as a person 100%. I just can't do it.
And that speaks to even Lotus as a company.
Well, Lotus and also Precision beforehand.
Precision, yeah,
right.
Yeah.
When you do well, it makes me feel good.
Yeah,
it's not the negligible commission that I get from in my paycheck. It's holy crap. Matt said somebody called up that mentioned Rock 102, and I'm like, yes, that's why we do this.
So Rock 102 has just a gigantic signal. Like they're unrivaled by anybody around here.
It's an hour in every direction, basically solid.
It's an hour in every direction. Yeah, absolutely. And so when you look at that reach, right, and you look at how quickly somebody would shoot down that challenge for you to say, hey, look, I'll give you 100, or I'll give away 100 out, right? Right. Explain how you did that.
I'll go on the radio and say, whoever calls your business first gets $100 bill. Mm-hmm. And that was the guy who said, "Oh, radio, it doesn't work." and he was afraid to take up my challenge because he knew that he'd be $100 short.
It works, and it works instantly. I think people get accustomed to hearing commercials for our businesses regularly on the radio.
Yep.
And that's the thing. It's marketing consistently over time, and that's what I want to talk about. On the next podcast. But like, people will advertise. People will regularly contact us for marketing above all else. And so when we look at our funnel, how people find us, it's more for marketing than anything else, right? But the reality is that we're not a marketing company. That is a solution that we offer as a business solutions firm. And so I'm not the marketer. I'm profitability, I'm efficiency, I'm sales, I'm process. Like, I'm a business, I'm like on the business end of it, but I know enough about marketing to know how everything should look and how it should all fit together, and who, more importantly, we should use. And I think that's one of the things that we do here at Lotus is we've just found the absolute best people, and we just get the hell out of their way.
Yes.
Like, we just find the absolute best people. And through the years, we've used a lot of different companies and people and tried a lot of different strategies. And at the end of the day, what we use now is stuff that is very data driven. And then once we figured it out, like even videography and how we do websites and everything, we went and we looked at it. We said, how do we get a really high end result, and how do we duplicate this along everywhere? How do we replicate this? And so we've partnered with photographers and videographers that work with us regularly and go to our businesses and help us to have a certain appearance, and these are all things like we're constantly innovating, constantly changing, so that we can create a really, really high quality look, a really, really high quality message, but also make it so it's super easy for our partners and our companies to be able to duplicate this result, which is huge because people don't want to do it if there's a challenge. If they could just, right, I've said it how many times, they need to fall out of their bed and land in their slippers, stand up and the bathrobe's already on them, right? How much trouble would you have getting out of bed if you did that? You stood up and then there's a cup of coffee right there. You would love getting out of bed in the morning. Right. Even my wife Nicole would love getting out of bed in the morning. She'd sleep until noon if you let her, right? But even she would get out of bed in the morning if she knew that all of this stuff was all ready and waiting for her. And that's what we do. That's how we approach marketing, using data. Right? Using these tried and tested things. We know what people engage with. We know what they like. We know what they want. Now, how do we do it? How do we make it super easy for all of our partners to do this so that they don't have to fuck with it, right? They don't have to mess with it. They don't have to figure it out. Look, it's already done. Just do this and go out and shake your 10,000 hands and meet people and use this stuff as one part of you know what I mean? And there's all these different layers. Obviously, I get so excited about it. You know what I mean? Because we've been doing this for so long, dude. Like, you spend all this time.
I love watching you get worked up over it.
Yeah,
because that's how you got to be in it. It can't be. You want to do some marketing with us? No.
Yeah.
And you should be excited because we're killing it.
Yeah. I sit down with people regularly, and we talk about marketing. I could tell you, talk about marketing, talk about business and all that stuff. And I've never been in a room where I ultimately didn't come out and people are like, what the like, this guy knows, nobody's ever told me in my life that I don't know what I'm doing with something.
Yeah.
If I decided I wanted to go build model airplanes, I would obsess over building model airplanes until I became the absolute best model airplane builder. And so what we're trying to do now is we're trying to build a company, and I mean, we've effectively done it and we're doing it. We're getting better every day, but we're trying to build a company that does one of the hardest things that it can possibly do in business, and we're able to do it and replicate it over and over and over and over again and make it as easy as possible for everybody, right? Being a business solutions firm, we offer all of these big solutions to your problems, right? We can help you shape your message. We've done it. Just follow this system that we've used. Here's your website. Here's this. Here's how you're going to post to social. Here's how we're going to manage your financials. Here's the other areas that we're going to market. Here's how we're going to train you how to be a business owner in this very systematic, timed way that's going to automatically kind of hold you accountable. And I know that's something that you want to talk about, systems and everything next, but ultimately, if what I'm saying, to these listeners, if what I'm saying makes sense, I want them ultimately to go and schedule a discovery call with us.
Yeah.
If you think that you have a better way than we do it, that's great too. Call us, tell us what the better way is. We'll hire you. Yeah. I mean,
I like that proposition.
Isn't that the truth, right? If you
true.
think that you know a better way than how we're doing it, just talk to me and prove it, and I will hire you. Right. I promise you, I'll hire you. You know what I mean? There is no ego left in me. I don't care if my way of doing it is wrong. Just show me that there's a better way.
So just as a good example, that's why I'm here.
Yeah, exactly.
Because James doesn't do radio.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So no, that's awesome.
Found the best guy that I could find to help me shape a message. Right?
Oh, thank you.
And find our media buys, find our ad buys, find all of this stuff. Like, I found the best possible guy that I could. You've been, Massachusetts Broadcasters Hall of Fame Association. What is it?
I'm not in the Hall of Fame yet.
Hall of Fame. You're not in the Hall of Fame yet.
I'm not in the Hall of Fame yet.
Mass Broadcasters Association. Biggest afternoon radio show that anybody could find. Find somebody better than, well, I wouldn't say bigger.
Yeah,
right?
if you can do it better than me, come take my job.
Come take it.
It's right in front of you.
Yeah. Well, all right, buddy. Hey, until next time.
Until next time. See you, Beebs.
Yep.